Good evening and welcome along to the club on a Monday night. A little bit later than usual, but thanks for joining us. In studio tonight, I have Ray Brady. Welcome along, Ray. James O'Regan.
How's it going?
And our Scouts powerhouse, which is Ray Dickinson. How are you, Ray? Are you all right?
Yeah, not bad. It's going to get confusing with two Rays, isn't it?
No. You're going to be Dicko. And Razor. I've been around two people with the same name before. I think I can manage this one.
Only in your dreams, Steve-O.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, there's more than two of them when it's in my dreams, right? So listen, first of all, we're going to run through a few things tonight. It's been, 10 days, 9 days, whatever it's been. I don't know. It feels like a fucking eternity since we last played a game. So we are going to have a chat about the break that we've had, the lack of FA Cup football, the trip to Dubai, and then we'll do a proper preview of the old Leicester game and see what we think about it and where we're at. It's a while since I've seen some of you lads, so welcome into the old studio. Neil, how are you getting on there? We've got Neil on the decks tonight and he looks bamboozled. You okay? Right, fair enough. That means you're okay, Nilo. If that's how you're
Irish
feeling,
for I'm fine.
Yeah, that's Irish for just get on with it, will you? So, lads, last game, Crystal Palace. I know it's probably been done to death now at this stage, but I suppose we were watching it earlier on LFC TV, and by earlier on I mean currently because it's on the TV in the background. But in that sense, it was an excellent win, albeit an unnerving performance at times. It's 3 points in the bag, and it left us with the a 7-point advantage again, with City having to go into the next game. They did win that game. How are we feeling about Leicester coming up?
I think every game now is going to be a certain amount of nervousness because every game that goes by just gets bigger and bigger, doesn't it? I've seen Leicester at various points this season play really well, particularly away from home, and get absolutely nothing. So I'm just hoping there's a repeat of that with us on Wednesday. So I am nervous. What would help is if City managed somehow to drop some points tomorrow night against Newcastle. That would ease the nerves considerably. Well,
we're 9 days at this stage since the last game. The lads have been off to Dubai. We've seen very pleasing pictures of Oxlade Chamberlain, as I'm going to now call him. Axel Foley Chamberlain. We saw him back in full training now, albeit he's a while off playing any football, I'm sure. Yeah. That has to be a boost just for
you know the way they say absence makes the heart grow fonder. Like literally, if you had to go off LFC Twitter, we are getting fucking Messi, stroke Maradona, stroke Pele back. This fella is the second coming of a football god.
Yeah. But I tell you what he is. He's probably the player people were expecting Naby Keita to be. But the problem we have is with him coming back, we've two players that aren't going to be flying form at that time. So, but listen, it's not about necessarily him being back for X game. Yeah. It's just it will give a boost to the lads. He seems like one of those blokes that's the gel around the team. He seems to be just a genuinely good bloke, gets on with everybody, and seems to be well liked. So when you see a teammate like that coming back, it can only have a positive impact. You've got Joe Gomez coming back as well. This is been a blessing being out of the FA Cup. I know there's people out there who wanted to win cups, but you look at the likes of Spurs and you look at City and United who are still in it. United are still in it, but they're going to have a lot of games between now and the end of the season. And those little breaks for us could be the difference in giving players a chance to get over knocks, to not have the pressure of travelling to fucking Bournemouth or wherever it might be.
Well, I think we're only going to judge it now when we see actually how the break does, because if it doesn't go right, God forbid it doesn't go right, and we've had to drop points in some way, it'll be instantly said that it sort of took us out of our mojo or took us out of our rhythm, perhaps. So it'll be sorted. We'll judge it at the end. If we win, then the break was a great thing.
I know what you're saying by that, but I think it's probably fair to say we haven't been in an amazing rhythm. You know what I mean? Like, that last Crystal Palace game, the game before it even, we had a decent win, but it wasn't an amazing performance. No,
because the Crystal Palace was like the sloppiest I've seen us all season. Like that was like Liverpool of last season, where you go, oh god, we're just going to
we have to outscore these.
Exactly.
It's the first time this season you felt a little bit unnerved.
It wasn't like before. I thought we had sort of attack after attack, or against us sort of when we were conceding goals. This time we were just superior all over the pitch, and just they had 3 or 4 attacks and scored from all of them. Like was a really weird one. I thought the mate was, and that's how we describe it. It was so weird, just like a free header from a corner, stuff you just don't see. Alisson not being great for the third even, and just one of them days. Just everything they touched went in the back of the net. But,
and we still got the 3 points out. You know what I mean? And that's massive.
But I will say that I am in no way looking forward to it because I went through everything: heart attack, arse, tensing, you name it. It wasn't enjoyable. It wasn't enjoyable. The end,
it's the first game.
The end justified the means, but my God, it was tough. It was like really was like the cliche.
Yeah, it's the first game this season I've been nervous. And I'm not being funny in saying that, but I haven't been nervous in matches. I don't tend to get nervous. I know poor old Shane Davern loses it about his Potts goal about 4 days in advance, God bless him. And
I think they're gone for the season.
And listen, they're not coming back till about mid-August when the new season, and then he'll start getting nervy again anyway.
but the season and the games have been in such a way that we haven't gone in at half time down very often. We were down against City at half time, weren't we? But outside of that, I'm not even sure if we went in a half time a goal down. So it was a new experience for the players to galvanise themselves, and obviously getting the goal quickly helped settle all of our nerves. But then when you get pegged back against a 2-2 and the time is kind of running down, and you realise, don't you, any draw is the same as defeat now.
Yeah, no, it is. Well, it's you run the risk of it being a major problem with City unlikely to. Well, listen, I suppose part of us can say City are unlikely to drop points. It's actually City are likely to drop points. They have to set a new Premier League record by 5 games in order for them to win 19 on the bounce. Yeah. That's like 14 games on the bounce is a huge achievement if they get near that. But to do 19, we're getting into this, they can go 19 unbeaten. It's only 4 games ago that they lost a match. You know what I mean? So we probably need to have a little bit of perspective. If we're likely to drop points, having been the superior team over the last 22, 23 games, whatever it is.
Would it be fair to say, though, that while us two seem to be sort of holding our own and sort of keeping at a level and almost going up a level maybe towards the end of the season, that the rest, even third and fourth in the league, the likes of Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal, are dropping off a little bit?
No, yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Like
so what I'm saying is, I think it might even be easier at this stage to say for both of us almost to get more points. That at this stage, I think the other teams seem to be weakening as well. But is that fair to say?
Well, I don't think United are weakening.
No,
I think they're
okay. Exception.
And they could be the team having still to play both. Oh, this is not going to go well. Having still to play both. You blinked. Sorry, having still to play both teams. They could have a big impact on where the league ends up, you know. But you have to remember,
but who would they rather?
I know. You know. It's much of a muchness. But what I would say to you is, you forget that teams that are fighting for their life with 5-6 games to go, they can often be the most tricky out of all the games you play. We could play City and have a handier game than we might have against Fulham with 4 games to go, or whoever it might be down in that neck of the woods at that part of the season.
What's going to be interesting is City going to Selhurst Park now, because obviously they've beaten them once. We've seen what they did against us. They're more than capable of scoring goals.
When is that?
Tottenham out. I don't know when it is exactly, but that's the one for me I have circled off as a potential
possibility.
Rafa
has Rafa could take some points tomorrow night versus City. It's quite possible.
Rafa's very funny.
Rafa is known for his comedy around the place, as is Neil. So let's just remember, this podcast is brought to you in association with RedsBet, a betting site tailor-made for Liverpool supporters. RedsBet aims to share half the net profits with Liverpool supporters on fan causes, so no matter what, the fans end up the winner. Check out the odds on redsbet.com or download the RedsBet app. Share the glory and gamble responsibly.
What?
Gamble responsibly. Apologies. So going into the game, it looks like we don't have Gomez back yet.
No.
We will have Alexander-Arnold. No, he's out. No. And so you're looking at probably Fabinho in at right full. There's talk of Camacho. Which way do you because Fabinho has been an integral member of the midfield in the last 6-8 weeks. Do you take him out of there because of the amount of quality we have in the middle of the park against the Leicester side, who are decent but not top? They're not in the top echelon. Or do you take him out and put him right full, or do you bring in someone like Camacho? James.
I personally would prefer to see Fabinho play it right back as opposed to Camacho, because I think, you know, we need his experience, and he's played there before. And as you said, we have other people who can come into
Joe must be at work tonight, is he not?
Sorry, go ahead. So you would feel that you would put Fabinho in at right full and
yeah. Well, Wijnaldum is back in the squad, so
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, we have enough in midfield to cover off. So I would put in Fabinho in at right back, because Camacho, I don't know.
Does someone like Adam Lallana possibly come in for this game? He hasn't played a lot of
Jesus
football.
Christ,
I know, but lads, I'm
no,
going to ask you. This is the sort of stuff that Klopp can often do. You know, you've got Keita, who I thought Keita had a decent enough game against Crystal Palace.
He played all right.
He should be given the opportunity to build on that.
Yeah,
If we want him to gain any momentum and hopefully get back to a level that we feel is acceptable. We're not talking peak Leipzig, but we're talking a level that's actually acceptable. You probably have to give him a run of games without patching him in and out of the side, don't you?
Yeah, but
You're looking at Henderson. You're looking at
problem
Ronaldo.
being though how important every game is now. This is where you almost wanted. Okay, one suits the other. All right, being out of cup suits us now at the league, but this is where cup games would have suited. Where for that type of player who's maybe not hitting the form that he is, getting a bit of a run in the team for certain games. So we haven't got that option.
Does he go then with? Does he go then with Henderson and Wijnaldum with that three in front of or that three behind Salah, with Shaqiri out on the right, Mane on the left, and Firmino?
We haven't seen that much of Shaqiri, have we, lately in the last few games?
No, he's been quiet enough in the last couple of games. He hasn't been up to the same standard he was.
About Matip and Lovren fit, or
Matip is fit.
I think both of them are back. Yeah, no, I think both of them are back.
Okay.
They should both be fine. I think.
So then I reckon you are talking for Fabinho at right full, and I can't see him putting the young fella in.
I can't see him trusting Camacho. It was interesting against Palace. Milner gets sent off on 81 or whatever, and then he seems, you know, happy enough, but he reverts to, you see, Shaqiri.
Salah's nearly at right full at one point,
Firmino.
They were playing there. He only literally sort of resorted to throwing Camacho on
89, 90 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, which was a bit of a strange one. And when he did come on, there was one moment there, wasn't there, where he sort of went for a tackle, and you thought to yourself, "Oh no, don't give something away." Got away with it.
I wonder whether it's in Klopp's head though. How good would it be for a young fella like this to put him on, and he's at fault, but like Zaha's gonna make sure he most rifles in the league. So for him to do that to a young fella in a big game and somehow Camacho, maybe that was in his thinking. I'm not putting him into it, you know, almost into delivering him into the slaughterhouse, like, you know.
Yeah.
No, that's fair enough. I think we're going to probably wrap it up soon enough and move over to the podcast for anybody who is watching at the minute. From your point of view then, lads, what's predictions?
I'm going to say 3-2 Liverpool.
All right, okay. Ray?
I think if we keep Vardy quiet, we'll win by 2 goals. So yeah, 3-1.
3-1. Okay, James.
I was going to go 3-1 as well.
You think 3-1?
Yeah.
I think we get back to a clean sheet. I think we get a clean sheet against them. I think 2-0.
I'd say Virgil will be very keen to get a clean sheet, because I'd say
I think Alisson will be hurting after that third goal as well, and letting in 3. You know what I mean? But he'll know he should have done better on that third one. Yeah. Listen, Vardy isn't the worry as much. Like, number one, he's not as prolific as he was 2-3 seasons ago.
But he always seems to do something against us.
He does, but that's the thing about this defence this year. Players that seemed to do things against us aren't getting those opportunities, you know.
But we're not. But it's not the reason why I think this potential trend of conceding goals will continue a little bit is until we've got that proper
solidity
in
midfield.
But that's what I'm saying. It's the worst thing. If you ask anybody talking about back four, they'll say you want the same person out there for as much as possible.
If you've got 3 at the back 4, if you've got, say, whether it's Lovren or Matip,
and your keeper, but
that's what you have from Robertson. You've got Robertson. You've got
Matip back in isn't first choice. Do you know what I mean?
I still think he's been decent.
He is third choice. You know, behind Gomez and Lovren, whichever way around you want. So you've got to deal with that, and you've got to deal with a right back who's not going to be potentially even a normal and a natural.
Oh yeah, but you're
right
putting
back, so
if you put Fabinho in at right back, he's very accomplished.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
he's
playing there
done a
playing
job
there,
there.
but it's not even doing a job. He's
before,
playing for his
yeah.
national team there.
Yeah.
Like, that's where he plays his football
Yeah.
for them. So it's not like just the odd time he plays.
Yeah.
But it's
exactly.
not your first choice, and I just think we're going.
But like,
Yeah,
they've had. This is the point of being in Dubai. They've had time to work on the formation and to see.
He knows who he's thinking about in that
he
position.
has the team picked and it's all ready to go for
Yeah, this
despite
isn't
what
the
he said.
Fabinho that first got into the team that was sort of
No,
struggling with the
no,
pace of the
he-
game. He's
Thankfully not,
well
no.
able for it now.
No, he's
well
really
able.
grown as a character in the team. And
Yeah,
he's he's integral to the team.
The lads, there's been a couple of questions in there, or a couple of comments in there. So Barry Carr said, "Is Big Joe back yet?" I don't think he is. I
No,
think
he's not.
I think
He's
he's a
had a
couple of
setback.
games. Yeah, I think he's a couple of games away before. You're
They-
probably looking at
Klopp
2-3
said
weeks.
a couple of
Would be
weeks.
after,
Yeah, I
it'd be
think you're
after
looking at
the
2-3
first
weeks.
Yeah,
Munich game,
I
he
think
said.
it's more like a month. But
Probably, you could be looking at late February.
Yeah.
And then Kev O'Sullivan had said that he's worried about Damari Gray's pace. Listen, I to an extent, I probably would be more worried if it was Milner.
yeah,
Damari Gray is playing right side or left side. I'm trying to remember
Lads,
now. I
this
think
is
it
it
is
from here on in, that we are going to invent
reasons.
reasons because
and
the nerves and the expectation now it's so
Yeah.
big. We're just going to see these players that aren't really you, and another time you just say we're going to stuff them, but now you're going to be fearful, like sort of the way the Ray is every time we're playing Everton. And he just fantasises
It doesn't
that
matter
they're
how
much
bad
better
they
team
are.
than they are.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what we're all doing now. Like, so even talking about Damari Gray, yeah, he's fast, but that's no reason for us to think he's going to, become this fucking world beater against us. We're all just nervous.
He's an
in case.
average player in an average team, and that's what we have to get back to remembering that. You know what I mean? We are playing average teams. With
this
a
is
large
an
factor
awful
of
Leicester team. As
Yeah.
well. Like
It's
They shipped
They're
4 goals the
struggling.
last
I mean,
time
they
out,
are
didn't they?
atrocious.
The manager is living on the edge now.
Well,
terms
thank
of
God he
getting
hasn't been sacked, and we don't get that.
New
that bounce.
New manager bounce. Yeah, thanks.
Still
So-
2 days. Wednesday lunchtime. Pugh relieved of his duties. Bollocks.
Big Sam.
Yeah. Another pistol.
But it'll be the same on Monday when we play West Ham. We'll over the weekend we'll invent 10 reasons
of
why,
course.
and they've just been humiliated.
What's
by,
his name?
by
What's the West Ham
Wimbledon
captain's
and-
name? Noble will be Pirlo again. That's one way. That's
Anthony,
what's going to happen.
Andy Carroll.
Yeah.
We'll
Declan
invent
Rice.
all these
Yeah.
reasons.
Yeah,
when
no.
really we should go there and beat them handily,
And
like
dominate
we did
them.
at Anfield.
Let's
You know
look
what I mean?
and in fairness, it looks like the team that we're shitting ourselves as team, but they don't seem to be at all.
No.
I mean, every pictures you're seeing, interviews you're seeing, they seem to have that little bit of confidence and an air of cockiness there. I say that they know they're decent.
That's been there since about late November. Even before they sort of pushed ahead of City. There's been a feeling about them, and we were talking about this on the show a couple of weeks ago about the fact that they just have this air of they believe in the manager. They believe in what he's trying to do, and he said to them, take it one game at a time. And normally you get that's a cliche, but I actually do believe that these players aren't thinking too far ahead.
Yeah, because like when
they're going out and
Mane,
concentrating.
those comments that Mane allegedly made, what was it about?
Saying that we can easily go, basically can win the
and
league.
he came out and said, no, we fucking didn't
Yeah,
say
they were on
any
the
of
back
that.
of the sun. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? So
less than about that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you wouldn't be taking much of what they say about
No,
Liverpool exclusives as gospel. You know.
Let's not forget where's this confidence probably stem from. This is a team that got to the Champions League final last
absolutely.
season and could easily have won that.
Yeah.
That game had certain things happen differently. So they're
them
not
being
just
better off
this
football.
is just
Or your own goalkeeper fucking it in his own net.
Your keeper having arms.
we won't go
Simon
into that.
Mignolet goals.
But look, like this isn't like false bravado. This is born out of results that we got last season and the momentum that brought into the beginning of this season.
And people worried how would it affect these group of players, and instead of it actually having a negative impact, it's only pushed them on and given them the hunger to achieve. So right, listen, we'll wrap it there. Nilo, I'm going to get you to press stop streaming there on the side of OBS. That would be great. Okay, I'm going to say goodnight to you and go over and do